welcome or welcome back to my channel. For today's video, as you guys may or may not know, I am in the process of packing to move multiple states away, so it's been a really long process, but today I'm gonna try to tackle packing my books. I've been stressing about this for a couple weeks now, but I think I have a good system of how I want to pack. We're gonna go through and we're gonna pack my books, but as we're packing, I wanted to do a re-ranking. After you read a book, there's this hype that you feel around the whole character and the world building, and sometimes you rate it a little too lowly from how you feel, and ratings are really based off of how you feel and your emotions on the book at the moment. So I wanted to go through and see if I want to re-rank any of the books that I've already read. Sometimes if I'm really upset about an ending, I will rate a book a lot lower than how I actually felt if I gave myself some more time to think about it, or vice versa. I could love a book so much in the moment that I rate it so highly and then realize I didn't like it as much as I like this book that is also rated the same. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna see if any of the books that I've read need to be re-ranked, and also count all the books I do have and how many more I have to read. But yeah, we're gonna get started. Let me show you guys my bookcase, a mini bookshelf tour before I ruin it entirely. Okay, so I think we're gonna start off with the authors that I have the most books for, which is Sarah herself as well as Cassandra Clare. We're gonna start off with them, and then we're gonna go to my Fairy Loot editions, and after that I think we're gonna just go by individual shelves. But let's just jump right in because I feel like this video is going to be a lot longer than I anticipated it to be. Hopefully we can get through this pretty quickly, but yeah, let's get started.
I call you pretty, but it never goes as planned. You think it's funny, I'm just trying to be a man. I wanna show you in the best way that I can that I'm so in love with you. Try to be serious, but you can never tell. It isn't easy to confess how hard I felt when we've just been friends.
Alright, we're gonna do this sitting because this is gonna probably take a lot longer than I want to be standing for. I'm gonna go get the books. Let's get started. First we have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, let's just start off with what I originally ranked the Throne of Glass series. Assassin's Blade 4.5, Throne of Glass 4.5, Crown of Midnight 4.5, Heir of Fire 4.5, Queen of Shadows 4.5, Empire of Storms 5, Tower of Dawn 3.5, Kingdom of Ash 5. I still really love this series, but there are some changes that I want to make for Crown of Midnight and Heir of Fire. Instead of 4.5s, I want to give these two 4 stars. They were just a little slow sometimes. I remember getting a little bit bored and wishing it picked up the pace a little bit. And Empire of Storm, instead of it being a 5, I want to give it a 4.75 because I love Kingdom of Ash. I love it so much. This is staying a 5-star. I like it more than this one, so I feel like it wasn't fair to give this one a 5 when I confidently can say that this book is better than this one. And then lastly, Tower of Dawn. I gave it a 3.5 originally, but I want to bump it up to a 4. Like I said, I emotionally rank books. The ending for Empire Storm, you give me something like that, and then you expect me to read a whole book on a character that I didn't like very much before I can get a resolution to this cliffhanger? Next is the Akhtar series, and these, oh my god. Okay, you guys don't see, but I'm dropping them everywhere. The next series is Akhtar. We don't talk about Silver Flames, how she doesn't match. It's okay. I have the original hardback covers for the first 4, and I also have the paperback version. So we have 5 hardbacks and then 5 paperbacks. We have A Court of Thorns and Roses. I originally gave this a 5-star, and I want to bump it down to a 4.5, which I will explain because this book right here, A Court of Mist and Fury, I gave this a 5-star and it's staying a 5-star. The reason why A Court of Thorns and Roses is being a 4.5 is because this book is so much better than this one. And then we have A Court of Wings and Ruin. This was a 5-star, still a 5-star. I love this. I love the politics. I love the tension and heartbreak this book gives you. And then we have the little novella, A Court of Frost and Starlight. I originally gave this a 3.5, and I'm gonna stick with that rating. And then lastly, we have A Court of Silver Flames. I originally gave this a 4-star, but I want to bump it up to a 4.5. I gave it a 4-star because, Nesta Nesta was like a really unlikable character. I really did not like Nesta, which was fair. Everyone did not like Nesta. I loved her character development. I loved the relationship she's building with the inner circle. I love her as a character. I also have the collector's edition of ACOTAR, and it's a hardback with a lot of foiling. It's really pretty. The last two books I have for Sarah are obviously the Crescent City books. This is 1 and this is 2. I have not read these two. I know. I really need to get reading because the third one for the series is coming out January 2024. And I need to read these before then. Okay, the next section is Miss Cassie Clare, Queen of the Shadowhunter universe. The first series I'm gonna go over is the Mortal... Let's try this again. The Mortal Instruments series. This is the first series I read by Cassandra Clare, and I originally loved this series, but that was also when I was pretty young. I recently reread it, and I have the ratings for that. I gave City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, and City of Fallen Angels all 3 stars. They were enjoyable, but I don't know, I just didn't like the pacing. It just felt really dragged on at some points, and then also I hated the step sibling or like sibling trope that they had going on. It really killed me. Like, to read that, I I couldn't get past it. And then I gave City of Lost Souls a 3.5, and the last book, City of Heavenly Fire, a 3-star. Oh, I remember why I wanted to reread the series. I reread it because I didn't read the very last book. That's why this book is different than the rest of the entire series. Next, we're gonna talk about my pride and joy. I love this series, and it is the Infernal Devices. This is taking place in Victorian era, and it's before the Mortal Instruments, but it was published after the Mortal Instruments. I do want to change the ratings for all 3 of these. So originally I gave the first one a 4-star, the second one a 4.5, and then the third one a 5-star. I want to change it to the first one being 4.25 because I think I rated it a 4 because of the cliffhanger. I want to give the second one a 5-star. Again, I was emotionally attacked in the second one, so I was angry, but I really fully respect the attack on my emotions, on my person, on my heart. I respect it, you know, that's good writing. The tension in the second one was really good, so I want to give the second one a 5-star. And then this third one, I originally gave it 5-star, but I want to move it down to a 4.75. I don't know why I gave the third one a 5-star, to be honest, because I was so angry with one thing that happened in this book. I was so mad. I completely ignore it, and I completely just think that it never happened, and I gave it a 5-star. But now that I've settled down, I know that it happened in the third book, and I can't ignore it because it did happen. So I'm gonna give this book a 4.75. And then we have the Last Hour series. We have Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron. This is the first one, this is the second one. I do not have the third one just yet, but I have not read these two. We have the Dark Artifices series. The first one is on my currently reading shelf that I'm gonna go over at the end of this video, but this is the second one, Lord of Shadows, and then the third one, Queen of Air and Darkness. Ghosts of the Shadow Market. I have not read it. And lastly, we have the graphic novel for the Infernal Devices. This is the entire collection, and I still have not read this. I'm not ready for my heart to be, you know, stomped on again. So I'm taking my time. Alright, the next section we have are all of my Fairy Loot editions. The first one is Only a Monster Can Kill a Hero ... by Vanessa Len. Cruel Illusions by Margie Fustin. This is a really pretty edition. We have the Celestial Kingdom duology. This one isn't a Fairy Loot edition, but I wanted to do it together. I gave the first one a 2-star, and then I gave the second one a 2.5. I want to move both of these to a 1.5. I originally gave them higher rating because I felt bad. I always feel really bad rating books low because, you know, someone worked really hard to write and publish these books, but I want to give you guys my best honest opinion on books, and I don't want to sugarcoat things because everyone has their own opinions, so please don't be mean because I know these books are really popular. They're really highly rated on Goodreads. They just weren't for me, so I'm giving these two a 1.5. This Vicious Grace by Emily Thied, City of Nightmares by Rebecca Chafer, Violet Maid of Thorns by Gina Chen, Belladonna by Adeline Gray anyways, I originally gave this a 4-star, but I'm gonna move it down to a 3.5. This was the instance of me really liking it in the moment and rating it a little bit higher than what I would rate it now that I've like sat on it. Silver in the Bone, The Stardust Thief, The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, I gave this a 3.5. It's a fun little cozy fantasy. The Darkening, One Dark Window, Divine Rivals, The Ones We Burn, Year of the Reaper, I gave this a 3.5. Blood Scion, Seven Faceless Saints, Princess of Souls, An Arrow to the Moon, The Coldest Touch, and then finally Twin Crowns. The Nightborn Duet, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King. I originally gave this one a 4.5 and this one a 4.75. I'm sticking with those ratings. 6 Scorched Roses, a 4. Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, Daughter of No Worlds, Mother of Death and Dawn, The Kingdom of the Wicked, 3.5. Kingdom of the Curse, originally at 3.5, but I'm gonna move it to a 3 just because I felt like there were a lot of questions left behind in the first book that were not really answered in the second one, and then the second one also gave me more questions, so it just felt really frustrating to read an entire book and just not have things answered. But hopefully the third one will answer every single one and wrap it up, make the series worth reading. The Six of Crows duology, both of these 5 stars, and they're gonna remain a 5-star. Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. The Outsider by Stephen King, I gave this a 3-star and I'm gonna keep it at a 3-star. It started out so good and then it just kind of went downhill. A Thousand Splendid Suns, I read this in like high school. This was a school book that I had to read. I feel like now if I reread it, I would rate it a lot higher, but I gave this a 2. Thinking back and how I felt about this book in high school, I hated it. It was a 2. There are triggering topics in this. I don't understand why this was read in high school. There was probably a bigger meaning and bigger backstory to this that went over my head in high school, because any type of reading in school given, I just hated. Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, this is about Penelope and Collins, I gave this a 3.5. Red Queen, Babel by R.F. Kuang, Flame in the Mist, Protect the Prince, A Winter's Promise, Wuthering Heights, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. I gave this a 4-star originally, but I want to give it a 4.25. I really enjoy it. Sometimes I still think back on this story. If We Were Villains, You Reached Sam, I gave this a 3-star. They both die at the end. If He Had Been With Me. The Hunger Games trilogy, I like vaguely remember these books. I haven't reread them since I read them when I was younger, so I don't really know. I did this rating on my Notion based on what I think I probably would rate it. Hunger Games 4.5, Catching Fire a 4, and Mockingjay a 4. Now I don't know if that's exactly what I would rate it today if I reread it. And then we have the Divergent series. I remember this series and I liked it a lot more when I first read it, but now thinking back on it, I definitely want to change it. Divergent, I'll keep a 4. I did like the first one. I'm gonna be so real with you, I do not remember which one is which. I don't remember which one is the second one and which one is the third one. I think this one is the third one. I gave the second one a 3-star and then I gave the second one a 2-star. I hated the ending. I don't want to talk about it. It ruined the entire series for me. And then we have 4. This is the point of view of the male main character in the Divergent series, and I gave this a 2-star as well. The Inheritance Games trilogy, first one a 4, the second one a 4.5, and then the third one a 3.5. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, I originally gave this a 4.5, but I wanted to change that to a 4.75. I think about this so often and how much this book hurt me emotionally, but it was so well written. Definitely look up trigger warnings. There are some trigger warnings for this, so if you're interested, definitely research that first. But I really like this book. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I gave this book a 4-star. The Art of Hearing Heartbeats. Love Boat Taipei, I originally gave this a 4-star. I really liked it when I first finished it because I related to it so much, but after thinking about it for a little bit, the writing style just wasn't like amazing, and honestly it just was not a romance to me. It was more of a coming to age, but it was marketed as a romance, so I definitely want to knock it down a little bit. It's a 3.5 now. Happy Place by Emily Henry. Beach read, People We Meet on Vacation. The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. Better Than the Movies, I gave this a 4.5, but I want to give it a 4.25. The more I think about it, the more irritated I get with the girl main character in this book. And also the like miscommunication trope towards the end of it, that was not it. Things We Hide from the Light. Magnolia Parks, I gave this a 4.5. Magnolia Parks, A Long Way Home, have not read. Daisy Hates The Great Undoing. And then we have the first 5 books of the Percy Jackson series. I don't remember. I literally do not remember these books because I read them when I was so young and I wanted to reread them, just haven't gotten the chance. I got the new set. I remember loving the series a lot, so I'm gonna give it a 5-star because I loved it a lot. I was obsessed. I love mythology and I was obsessed with this series, but we'll see what the ratings for each book is after I reread the entire Shatter Me series. Now, I read this series so quickly, it is all a blur. Like, if you ask me what happened in each individual book, I could probably tell you up till Ignite Me. After that, it was all a blur. Even the novellas, I don't remember exactly, but I love Erin Warner as much as every other girly, so I tried my best for the ratings again. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I just think that the writing towards the end of the series was a little bit sloppy. The plot was a little messy, a little rushed, and it just felt really off. So Shatter Me, I gave a 4. Unite Me, I originally gave a 4, but I want to change that to a 3 because I hate Adam. Unravel Me, I'm gonna give a 3. It was a little slow. Ignite Me was a 4.5, but I'm gonna give that a 4.25 instead. Restore Me is a 4. Find Me is a 3.5. Defy Me is a 4.5. Imagine Me is a 3.5. And then Believe Me is a 4.5. Graceling, The Invisible Library, Legendborn, Iron Widow, Once Upon a Broken Heart, Cinder, The Shadow and Bone trilogy. I gave the first one a 4. I'm gonna keep it a 4. Siege and Storm, I gave a 3.5, but I'm gonna change it to a 3. Ruin and Rising was a 4, but I'm gonna change it to a 3.75. The series just kind of went downhill. It started dragging a lot, and I just did not feel very connected to the characters. Originally, like reading vlog that I did for it, I liked it in the moment, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized I just did not care about the characters at all. The House in the Cerulean Sea. The Cruel Prince trilogy. I gave the first one a 3, the second one a 3.5, and then the third one a 2.5. I know that this series is super popular and people love it, but it just wasn't for me. I think the politics of it was just, it felt kind of messy, it felt kind of choppy, it felt kind of rushed. These Violent Delights, a 3-star. Fine Print, a 3.5. The next are gonna be graphic novels and mangas. I'm not gonna rate them because I find it pretty hard to rate mangas and graphic novels until I finish the entire series, but I wanted to include them for the total count. We got the 4 Heartstopper books, 8 volumes of Aruharu Ride, 3 volumes of A Silent Voice, 3 volumes of Spy Family, 2 volumes of Promised Neverland, and 1 volume of Demon Slayer. The very last section I have is my currently reading for my June TBR. I wanted to include this for my total count. I have Serpent and Dove. I have finished reading some of these, but I'm not gonna rate them because by the time this video comes out, the June reading wrap-up will be up. If you want the ratings for these books, I would go watch the video. It's gonna be somewhere up here. Our Violent Ends, Daisy Hates, To Kill a Kingdom, Along for the Ride, Lady Midnight, The Nickel Boys, Caraval, Things We Never Got Over, and then finally we have The Fourth Wing. I'm reading it on my Kindle, but I want to add it to my total count because I do have it coming on its way. It just isn't here physically just yet. I haven't done the math to add up all the books on my physical TBR, so fingers crossed that it's lower than what it originally was. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. My bookshelves are so bare. I'm going to pack these up in boxes, and yeah, wish me luck, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!